Welcome to Trans Confessions. We are here today with the lovely Rachael Belle. Want to wave hi to everybody?
Hi.
Where are you from, Rachel?
I'm originally from Virginia.
Virginia. Grew up there?
Half my life.
Yeah, what about the other half?
That was in North Carolina. That's
And
where everyone says I have this accent.
Oh, you got an accent. Very sexy. And how old are you?
I'm 28.
28, cool. And when did you transition?
Let's see. I think I started the official transition as far as hormones and trying to be a little bit more full-time. I think I was 20.
20, so you've been transitioning for like 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when you transitioned, how would you describe that process? Was it difficult? Like, how was it? I know you were in the South probably.
Believe it or not, I got kind of lucky with my transition. I would definitely not put it as like the typical experience because it was fairly easy. I mean, my family, they weren't 100% on board, but they were supportive of me and you know, they loved me, and thankfully I wasn't kicked out or anything. I was threatened to be kicked out, but
by who? Your parents? Or?
At the time I was living with my father. My parents are separated.
Okay.
And when I first came out to him and told him, hey, you know, I want to be a girl, he had a really hard time. In fact, I remember he stormed out and apparently went to the bar and got pretty pretty hammered. So, but thankfully a family friend basically said, hey, kicking her out's a very big mistake as far as your guys' long-term relationship goes.
That was another family member that said that?
It was a family friend.
Oh, family friend, okay. And how, like, when you were a kid, did you know you were transgender? Did you think you were...
I mean, I definitely didn't know the name for it or anything, but I knew something wasn't right.
Right.
I mean, I have memories all the way back to where I was 3 years old, believe it or not, and that's when I first started dressing, actually.
Yeah, I sort of had a similar experience myself. Like, I knew something was different, but I didn't really even have the language skills or the vocabulary to even, like, do anything about it or describe it to anybody. Did you hook up with guys when you were younger, or girls, or...
Relationships were always really difficult for me because I was definitely not the most attractive boy, and you know, I was pretty nerdy for sure.
Well, you're an attractive woman now.
Hormones were very kind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dated a couple girls. One, we were high school sweethearts, and she was actually, I broke up with her and then transitioned, and we broke up because I was transitioning.
Oh, really? So is it what, the tail end of high school kind of, or?
It was first year in college.
Okay, gotcha. So in high school, did you get picked on or anything for being different?
No, thankfully, I never even heard of anyone being picked on or bullied or anything like that.
Oh, that's nice.
I just kind of, I mean, I had my little tiny group of nerdy friends, and we just kind of stayed together, and you know, I always wanted to tell people about me, but you know, with the social stigmas at the time and things like that, I just, and I still wasn't 100%. You know, is this just, do I just like to cross dress, or do I want to go further with it, or you know, I was still, there's so many different aspects of it that I hadn't experienced, and I just didn't know because of really ignorance. I hadn't really researched it or anything like that.
How do you think your geographical location influenced your transition at all? Like, was it more difficult because of where you were? Was it?
It was a little difficult in that, as far as society goes, that wasn't really difficult for me because luckily I feel like I was able to pass pretty quickly.
Okay, that helps. Yeah.
But as far as finding doctors, you know, getting the medications and things like that, that was extremely difficult because not only was there not nearly as much awareness as there is now, but it, you know, like you said, it was kind of that South, more, you know, conservative type of thinking, so it was really hard. In fact, my therapist, I had to drive 2.5 hours to every weekend just to go talk for an hour and then turn around and drive back.
Wow. Yeah, so you transitioned like the South, and when did your father come around to accepting you?
Let's see. So
And how was that for you?
I started when I was 20, and then I believe it was maybe a year or two later, and I had kind of been on hormones for a little while, and obviously I was starting to be, my hair was getting longer, I was starting to get a little bit more passable, and it was my birthday, and he asked, it was 21st birthday, so it was a year later, he asked me what I want to do. I said, I want to go gamble. So we went to a casino. I said, well, the only condition is I want to go gamble, but I want to go gamble as myself, as Rachael. And I could tell he really struggled with that, because not only does he have to see it now, but he has to, be father-daughter kind of thing with it. But thankfully he did let me go as myself, and it was a little awkward at the door when I realized I had to show my ID.
Oh, shit. Yep.
But thankfully the security guard there, he was really cool about it. I'm sure he's probably seen far crazier.
Yeah.
And I went in, I gambled, I had a pretty good time, and
Is that like your first father-daughter bonding experience, kind of?
It was, yeah.
Oh,
it was the first time, because we had to drive, I think it was an hour and a half or so just to get to the casino. So we were in the car for a while, and again, I tell people that I think it was easier for my family to accept it as the more passable I became, because then they stopped seeing that old me, and it was more this young woman that they were starting to see.
Yeah.
So
what kind of jobs did you have back then?
Gosh, I had so many. Well, I remember I was working at Pizza Hut when I first went full-time, 100%. I had already been living pretty much full-time at home, but that was when I, went 100%.
Yeah.
And I remember both my manager and the shift leader guy that I had become friends with, they were super the guys, always talking about going out and getting women. And the one was like this super country boy, talking about his guns and his dogs and all that stuff. So I was very, very nervous when I told them, but thankfully they treated me very well. They had my back 100%. And they both told me, if anyone says anything, just let us know, we'll take care of it. So
sounds like a very different experience than what most people would think about.
Yeah, like I said,
South with a bunch of country boys.
I got very lucky with my transition in that, as far as interactions and experiences, they were all pretty at least okay. Maybe not bad, but they were at least okay.
No, would you say your passability has something to do with that, or?
I think it has a lot to do with it. It goes back to what I was saying with my parents. It's a lot, and I don't mean this in any offensive way, but it's a lot easier to accept someone who looks like a girl than someone who looks like a guy in a dress.
Sort of seems like the debate is really centered around that, because nobody really cares if somebody who's full stealth walks into the ladies' room.
Right.
They wouldn't be the wiser. So it really almost seems like that whole debate is, whether or not people know it or not, it's like centered around that, really, at the end of the day. So you worked at Pizza Hut.
I worked at Pizza Hut. I said they treated me very well. I worked at K Jewelers. Realized I wasn't a salesperson. I hated that job.
I've been there. Totally know what you mean.
They were, again, my manager. It was funny, actually. One day we were closing up the store, and because I didn't know how to gauge them. I'm very bad at that for the most part. And she started talking about, I guess, this trans girl she saw on TV that was, beautiful, and she was, all impressed and stuff like that about it. And as we went in the back together, the other girl had left that she was talking to. We went in the back together, and I was like, you hired someone like that, right? And she was totally blown away. She had no idea, but again, she was really, really supportive.
Just changing the world, aren't you? One mind at a time. So Pizza Hut, K Jewelers, any more retail or?
No, I steered clear of retail because, like I said, I learned the hard way. I was not a salesperson.
So you worked those normal jobs. Did you have normal friends? Maybe normal isn't the word. It's the word I'm going to use right now.
I didn't actually have a whole lot of friends because unfortunately, when I moved to Virginia with my father, when I moved in with him, most of my friends were back with my mom, and just because of the distance, we kind of lost touch, and that's when I really started struggling with, my sexuality and my identity, and I kind of closed off the world, and I had a philosophy that let me figure myself out before I bring someone else, into my life, and I kind of kept to myself and did my own thing.
Now, did that change a little bit when you went to college?
Yeah, it changed a lot.
Yeah.
It was really nice because I went to school to be a dental assistant.
Okay.
And loved the job, didn't like the people that I worked with. But it was really cool to just kind of be one of the girls for the first real time in my life, because when you go to high school, people know, or in your neighborhood, mostly people know, but going to a college where nobody knows you and have never seen you, it was really cool to just it was different for me. I had never experienced that, to just be one of the girls and just have a good time in school.
So did you start experimenting more with guys around that time, or did you feel more free to do that?
It was actually a little bit before that. It was funny. I actually wasn't attracted to men prior to hormones. I mean, of course, the Model-esque type. But it was more of an appreciation. It wasn't attraction. I was like, yeah, I could see how he would be attractive.
A little more freedom to think those things, maybe.
I don't really know. I've read that sometimes hormones can kind of rewire that portion of your brain, so maybe that's what happened. Yeah. I don't really know. Maybe it was like a dormant feeling that was able to come more, but it started off really slowly. Like, I kind of found the Model-esque types actually attractive, and then the more on hormones I got, the more comfortable with myself I got, the more I started finding, I guess, normal guys attractive. And
that's when you got your boyfriend?
That is, yep.
So that was your first boyfriend. When did you first hook up with a guy?
It would have been my first boyfriend.
Oh, okay, cool. And so you're dating this guy in college, and you made some other friends too, like maybe some girlfriends.
Yep, I had a couple really close girlfriends that, I hung out at her house all the time. And,
cool.
I played with her kid and all that.
Now, we talked beforehand about something very naughty you did regarding this very topic. You had your boyfriend, and you had your girlfriends, and what happened at a certain birthday party?
Yeah, I think it was my 24th birthday. And, as I said, I never had a lot of friends. I just had a couple close ones. And I'm not a big party goer, so we just had like a small get together. It was just my boyfriend and my best friend. And we hung out, and unfortunately, boyfriend drank way too much, and he just kind of passed out super early.
Oh.
And it was just me and her hanging out, and it was cool because she was trans as well, and we kind of transitioned around the same time period. And
cool.
I've always been attracted to trans girls, and so is she. So
very cool.
We always were kind of flirting and just being fun with it. But that night, there may or may not have been some drinks involved, and we just kind of got to talking, and obviously it wasn't happening with the boyfriend that night, and I don't know, I just had a really, really good day, a really good birthday, and was in a good mood.
Had some good birthday sex, I know.
Yeah, we definitely got very naughty that night, and boyfriend, I don't think he ever found out. He'll find out now.
Well, it's been really lovely talking to you. I'm really interested getting to know you, and thanks for doing this interview and being really honest about your life.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was fun.
Cool. Bye. Thank you.